I hope you guys like this segment because I mostly do these videos to put myself at ease a little bit. There's so many albums that come out, I can never get to them all, so I just do these short snippet reviews of some albums that I wanted to talk about a lot, and there's just not enough time to get to them. So, some albums I really want to talk about and I never get time to do them, so this is why I do this. And this Mount Kimbie album is the perfect example of that. Seriously, I wanted to review this like a week ago, but I couldn't really find myself coming up with any words for this album. It was pretty tough to talk about. It's pretty good. Like, it is a pretty good album. I mean, out of all the albums that I do on this segment, this will be probably like the best one, to be honest. The King Cruel feature, the James Blake features are both great as well. Those James Blake features are pretty much better than anything on his last album, to be honest. And the electronic sounds across the album pretty nice. There's some lovely soundscapes. It's got a really strong sound to the album. Every track has such a strong electronic sound. That's probably the best word to describe this album. It's very strong in its sensibilities. But I just struggled to really find much to say, so I didn't really get a chance to review it. But do listen to this Mount Kimbie album because it's really damn good, and that King Cruel song is pretty excellent as well. Deerhoof, they are pretty remarkable with their output. They put out a new album pretty much every year, and it's always incredibly unique, and they manage to switch up their sound just like that, and you wouldn't even notice because it's still similar to their older stuff, but there's a slight difference. It's like they're always progressing, they're always changing things up. But this time around was a bit weird for me. This album sounds so ordinary. Like, it is the most ordinary album I think I've ever heard by Deerhoof. It's not like it's a full-on pop album, but a lot of the tracks are very straightforward pop songs, and I couldn't get used to it at all. It was just so weird. I just didn't get it. I just thought, this isn't Deerhoof. Like, it's cool that they've changed their style and sound again, but it just didn't feel like a Deerhoof album. I just found it so bizarre. It was a weird listen for me. I wasn't feeling it at all. But again, I commend them for constantly changing their sound, because they do. There aren't as many noisy pop elements on this one as their previous stuff. I think I do prefer the eccentric, noisy pop sound to this by far, but still pretty impressive that they can do this. This Rostam album runs more like an Animal Collective solo album than it does a Vampire Weekend solo album. It was quite jarring at first when I listened to this album. I was a bit like, what? But there are some cool psychedelic ideas on this album, and there are certainly some great indie pop tracks too. But it just feels a bit like entry level. Like, I don't know really what Rostam's adding to the mix here. It's a bit boring at points. There are some cool ideas, I guess, but like I said, I feel like, Panda Bear's done this before and made it better. And then other indie pop bands do this better as well, like Vampire Weekend. But there is one thing about Rostam actually that was a bit strange. I think his vocals do sound like the Mystery Jets vocalists as well at points. If you've never listened to Mystery Jets, check out their work. They have some pretty damn great indie pop songs from quite a few years ago now. But yeah, this Rostam album didn't feel anything new or fresh, so I didn't really feel it. Sløtface are a Norwegian pop-punk band. That's right, a Norwegian pop-punk band, which is already completely new and fresh just to my ears, hearing that there's a Norwegian pop-punk band out there. And honestly, I kind of wish we gave pop-punk music to Norwegians now after hearing this. This is way better than most pop-punk albums I hear. American pop-punk's just ran its course. It's getting generic and getting pretty boring. There are only a select few artists in the pop-punk genre that really do it justice now. Of course, Jeff Rosenstock is the best example, and the Smith Street Band too. But this Sløtface album's pretty good. I like it. I like the vocalist. She has a pretty like a vast amount of energy, and yeah, the pop punk sounds on this album don't feel like too generic either. Yeah, I'm pretty enjoying this as a pop punk album. I can't fault this. Do check it out, Sløtface. And that's the reviews for today. Yes, I only talked about 4 this time in this episode. Usually I talk about more, but there weren't that many albums out that I've missed that I hadn't talked about. There are some, obviously, reviews coming anyway for other albums, more in depth, but these are the ones that I didn't have a huge amount to say, and they've come out quite a while back, and I've kind of run out of the time zone for reviewing them, even though that shouldn't even be an issue, but this is just one of those cases where I just thought, I can't review them separately, so I'll just shove them in here. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more reviews, and have a good day.